In the grim and unyielding expanse of the Warhammer 40,000 universe, where the Imperium of Man battles against a ceaseless tide of darkness, few horrors are as malevolent as the demons that spawn from the incomprehensible domain of the warp. Born from the turbulent energies of the Immaterium, these otherworldly entities are the darkest facets of chaos made real. Timeless and beyond counting, they are a threat to every race that seeks some semblance of order and sanity in the war-torn galaxy, and have dragged the souls of billions screaming back into the realm from whence they came. But even amongst their kind, there are some whose names evoke far more fear, either whispered in the darkest recesses of the galaxy or openly feared as an apocalypse in and of themselves. One such demon is Samus, the demon prince of the Ruinstorm, and today we're going to delve into his background to find out what has made this creature the bane of worlds and heroes for over 10,000 years. But to start that story, we need to go back to just before the time of the Horus Heresy, when the War Master was still loyal to his father the Emperor, and the existence of demons was nothing more than a myth. As the numerous expeditionary fleets of the Emperor's Great Crusade embarked on their conquest of the galaxy, the 63rd Fleet, led by the War Master Horus Heresy himself, carried out their task of bringing each world they came across back into the Imperial fold. One world of particular note was a planet that would come to be known as 6319. This world had effectively succeeded from the Imperium, its ruler declaring himself the true Emperor and his throne world the rightful seat of humanity's power. At first, Horus sought a diplomatic solution, sending several delegates to negotiate on the Imperium's behalf. However, when those offers were met with violence, Horus unleashed his legion, the Lunar Wolves, onto the planet, conquering the vast majority of it in a very short span of time. Pockets of resistance did continue to fight back, but one by one, each was brutally rooted out by the Astartes until only a single stronghold remained, located in a place known as the Whisperhead Mountains. This region was seen as a supernatural place by the planet's citizens, where the borders of reality and the spiritual were almost permeable. Such myths did not concern the Astartes, however, who, dedicated to their cause, launched an overwhelming attack on the rebellion's last bastion. However, as they made their way through the stronghold's inner defences, the Lunar Wolves discovered shrine after shrine linked to an ominous creature known as Samus. In ages past, it was believed that one of the early rulers of 6319 had overcome and trapped a great beast in the mountains, and in response to the Imperium's coming, that creature had become a symbol of the rebels' own defiance. Needless to say, such icons were an insult to the Imperium's secular truths and were quickly destroyed by the Astartes. But as time went on, a mysterious and cryptic message began to be heard across the Astartes Vox network. Samus, that's the only name you'll hear, Samus. It means the end and the death. Samus. I am Samus. Samus is all around you. Samus is the man beside you. Samus will gnaw on your bones. Look out, Samus is here. At first, it was interpreted merely as a poor attempt at propaganda by the rebels, but soon, even those without Vox sets of their own began to hear the ghostly message whispered at the back of their minds, giving all a reason for pause. All of this came to a head when, without warning, Jubal, a sergeant of the Lunar Wolves who had felt bitterly spurred by being recently overlooked for promotion, turned on his battle brothers, killing his entire squad before being restrained by his superior, Loken. As the captain tried to bring Jubal to his senses, the Lunar Wolf began to suddenly transform into the hideous visage of a slobbering, raging demon beast who, tearing free of Loken's grip, then tore into the remnants of Loken's squad, ripping them apart limb from limb in a display of pure wanton carnage. It was only after Loken and a surviving battle brother had emptied their bolters point blank into the warped creature that it was finally felled, but not before leaving a deep scar on the very foundations of Loken's beliefs. Not only were there horrors that the Astartes legions weren't aware of, that they weren't prepared to fight, but that worst of all, they could turn even his closest allies against him. Samus's first encounter with Loken and the Lunar Wolves wasn't just a traumatising moment in the captain's own story, but also a clear example of why this particular demon has had so much influence on not just the Horus Heresy, but the setting of Warhammer 40k as a whole. His ability to possess mortals and use them as a conduit for his own manifestation into real space makes him an ever-present threat to the Imperium, and with the servants of chaos festering in almost every corner of the galaxy, his reach and influence stretches far and wide. This ever-presence was witnessed firsthand during the numerous other incursions by Samus during the Heresy. One such incident during the assault on Calth that was masterminded by the traitor Erebus saw Samus materialise through the vessel of the Wordbearer's captain Morpal's Seer, who, upon being willingly struck down by the Ultramarines captain Teus Sullus, unleashed the demon's fury within the Ultramarine stronghold. Only the intervention of another captain from the 13th Legion wielding an Athame knife managed to end Samus's rampage. However, this chilling manifestation amidst the turmoil of the Ruinstorm engulfing Calth solidified Samus's moniker as the Demon of the Ruinstorm, a title that has echoed with dread throughout the galaxy ever since. Like many demons, however, death was only ever a momentary delay to a creature like Samus, and each time he has manifested, he has come back with an even greater ferocity and tenacity. That alone has made him the match of not only some of the Imperium's greatest heroes, but even Primarchs like Rogel Dawn, whom he battled on the Imperial Fist's own fortress starship, the Phalanx, during the height of the Heresy. Though Dawn did ultimately overcome Samus in that particular duel, the demon was able to simply reincarnate himself into a new corpse and begin his rampage anew, and it was only through the selfless sacrifice of the Remembrancer Mercediolaton that a greater crisis was eventually averted. Samus's influence on the wider heresy did not end there though. He personally led a vast horde of demons in a merciless assault against the Imperial Palace's Colossi Gate, butchering the defenders and any who tried to stop them in vain. It was only thanks to a valiant counterattack by the White Scars and Adeptus Custodes that Samus and his minions were cast back, grasping a Pyrrhic victory from the jaws of defeat. He also reappeared on the flagship of Horus's rebellion, the Vengeful Spirit, just prior to the climactic fight between the Emperor and his traitorous son. There he duelled another hero of the Imperium, Garviel Loken, in a confrontation that, so it seemed in hindsight, had the very fate of the galaxy resting upon it, and it was only by the narrowest margins that Loken cast the greater demon back into the warp. However, the climax of the siege saw the fates of Samus and Loken converge one final time before its final conclusion. Standing before Abaddon and the lifeless form of Horus on the Vengeful Spirit, Loken implored the first captain to surrender the Legion to the judgment of the remaining loyalists. But before his desperate plea could be heard in full, Erebus himself struck from behind, fatally stabbing the knight-errant. The Dark Apostle explained to a shocked Abaddon that demons are born from truly malevolent acts, and Samus's genesis was always destined to arise from a heinous murder. Thus, Loken's demise became the catalyst for the creation of Samus himself, a being that exists beyond the confines of space and time within the warp, and who continues to threaten the galaxy with his insidious presence even after 10,000 years. Even now, whispers of Samus persist, spoken in hushed voices in the darkest corners of the galaxy. Yet therein lies the demon's true menace. Where whispers and reverence linger, the shadowy malevolence of Samus is never far away. Indeed, Samus is all around you, casting his ominous shroud over all who fear the horrors of the warp.